Okay, so we're going to continue on today. Yesterday, the power went out, and it was out for about 8 hours, so we're doing this today to catch up. Alright, so I've cut out the pieces that I need on page 2 of the plans. I've already got one piece in that told the servo, and now I am going to add the hinge part that is going to allow us to look up and down with our robot. So this is the bottom hinge right here, and obviously I want this to be the inside and this to be the outside because, well, look at it. Alright, so according to the plans, the fold comes at about 36 millimeters from the front, which is why we wanted to place our bulkhead, our main bulkhead, at about 36 millimeters from the front. And we did a pretty good job. Okay, let's look at this now. So 36 millimeters, I've got it drawn right about there. Let's see how that works. And I'm going to mark it on the back, or on the face. Part that we're going to see. There it is. 36 and 36. So when we put this, when we glue this onto the bottom, you can see that at the 36 millimeter mark, that's where our bulkhead stops. So this is going to be, this portion will be solidly glued. This back portion will be left to hinge up and down. Now, one of the things it says on the plans is you have to trim as needed. And I think we might need a little trimming. Just touching a little bit on this side. So I'm going to mark just a little tiny bit, and then I am going to cut from that mark to the 36 millimeters. And I'm going to go ahead and cut a little bit off on this side too. Yeah, let's see. Let's hold it. Okay, this will work. Just a little bit. Okay. Now that should be nice and it will not touch the sides when it moves up and down. Okay. Now, the next thing we need to figure out is the fold. Where are we going to make that fold? Now we want this side down because it looks nicer than that side, but we need a very special thing happening with our corrugation. So we want the corrugation to run this way, and then we're looking for a point where the corrugation kind of goes back and forth, waves back and forth. We're looking for the spot where the corrugation is on the other side. So there's 3 layers of paper here, and we want the hinge portion to be where there's 2 layers attached together, and the other layer, hello Henry, oh, not feeling well, poor Poor kitty. And I see it right there. Right here. It's on the other side of the bulkhead. And it's only one layer of paper. Now, if this weren't so marked, we could choose from either side. And what we want to do now is cut through where there's one layer, only one layer. And where are my scissors? Hello, kitty. How are you? Doing okay? There. So I'm going to mark where I want this to go. I marked the two spots where I want it to be. And then I'm going to draw a line between them. Hello, kitten. And then remember, I just want to cut one layer of the 3 different layers. Go around to the other side. Don't have to cut it all the way from one side. I can do both sides. Now we've got a hinge. It's 2 layers thick and it moves pretty easily. And now I want to bend it a little bit and I want to cut off the extra paper that will keep it from going down. So I'm going to cut across. Go to the other side, which happens to have more of it than this side. And I'm just going to cut one layer, just the part that's not going to get used at all in any shape or form. Oh, that's ugly. Let's even that out. Better. Okay, so now this becomes a hinge with 2 layers of the cardboard paper. 2 layers of cardboard paper. Now sometimes I will look for a piece of paper or a piece of cardboard that has a good label on it that's well stuck and use that to make this, because that gives us an extra layer of paper to work with our hinge. But 2 layers is probably enough. Now another thing I want to mark is where the servo is going to go. Here's our servo. We're going to use one of these larger servos to rotate the neck around, because the head's a little bit on the heavy side. Hi, kitty. And hi, how are you? And we're going to be using this as our horn to go on our servo, like that. Okay. So, and I need to know where that is going to be. If we look at the plans, it's 26 millimeters from the back edge. So let's go ahead and mark that, and it's going to be in the center of the head, of course. So the center of the head there, 26 millimeters. It's there. I'm going to call that Cadillacs because it's parallax but with a cat rubbing against you so you can't sight down it correctly. So that I'm going to call Cadillacs. Cadillacs. Alright, so why am I marking this? Well, I am going to apply some of this thin super glue again. And I want to have enough, thank you, so that I have a place where I can screw in this flange sort of gizmo that the servo is going to connect to. So that's quite a bit of area, and I need it so that the screws will stay in when I screw them in. So let's just kind of mark that a little bit, and let's put R. And again, we need to be careful with the fumes, because as we put super glue on a large area, what happens is it evaporates relatively fast, so you get a large dose of fumes coming out of the super glue because you've got so much of it over a large area. A little bit of paper because I don't want this on my hand, and I'm just going to brush that. So this, when it dries, is going to give us a fairly solid piece of paper on the outside, underside here, for our screws to go into. So we can set that aside to dry. Now, we also need to do that with these pieces. So why are these pieces so funny looking? Well, we want them, they're going to be on our hinge, and they're going to be moving with our hinge. And we want them, I got that turned around, no wonder. And we want them to miss this servo as they go up and down. So they're going to sit here, and as they move up, they twist up. We don't want them to hit that servo and stop moving. We're going to check them, make sure they're right, and we need to cut off a little bit. I'm going to take a little bit off. Because they're just a little bit too long. Okay, good. They fit much better now. Let's do the same. Now let's check it. Let's measure it before we cut it. Yeah, it needs a little bit too. Those will work. Now, these are crossed grain, you'll notice. So when we put these onto our hinge, we'll set them up so that the grains cross perpendicular each time. Alrighty, now we have our glue on here, but we want a layer of glue on each of these. So which way is this going to go? So this is going to go like this, and we're going to want this to go like that, and we need it to cross. That's correct, so that will be the next one. So this will go like this will go like this, and this one will go like that. So we'll stack them up like that. So on the top surface, we once again, oops, going to measure to the center, which I've got marked. I'm going to measure 26. Being about there. Ends up being about there. Is that right? Yeah, I think it will be right. Okay, so we have two more. It's getting messy. Let's brush this. Spread it out. Here. Spread that out. All right. So this is what we want below. So we want it to go up like this. We want this to go on top of that. And then we want this one to go on top of that one. Alright. Oh, this is collecting cat hair. Well, that'll make it stronger. Nothing wrong with cat hair, right, Henry? So now we're going to glue these on. I'm going to use hot glue. If you're not using hot glue, use whatever you've got. And what these are going to do for us, these are going to enable us to put screws into the cardboard. No, I don't need it. Probably don't need it. I was thinking maybe I should put more super glue layers in, but I don't think I'm actually going to need them. I think 3 will be enough. And as you can see, they go in opposite directions, so that is going to make it nice and strong. The glue is now dry, and the other glue is cooled down. Now, one last thing we need to do is we need to cut a spot for our cables to go through over here on the side. Right there is where we want it to go through. And fortunately, that is also where we don't have any cardboard. So I'm just going to cut a little bit of a V here. Use this as a guide. There we go. So now we have a spot where we can send our cords through. And this is going to go up and down. To make the robot head go up and down. Okay, one more detail on this. Well, actually two. First, next detail. Did you lay down on my linkages? I think you did. I think you did, kitty cat. Alright, lay back down. So I'm going to use one of these ta-da, jumbo paper clips. And I'm going to bend it a little bit. And what I'm looking for is this part right here. This smaller bend. And I'm going to make something that will go in here, and it will be connected to that servo. And for this one, I want 2 points of contact, and I'm going to make these the same length. There we go. And I want this to be near the edge, not too close to the edge, because we don't want it to rip through the cardboard necessarily, and we want it to be centered. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm probably going to put it, 5 millimeters back. That's usually the right amount. So I want it to be there. I want it to be centered. I already have a center mark. I put the center mark on here to know where the this little flange was going to go. So I already know that. So I want one spot to be here and the other spot to be here. Now we're going to put a hole in it. And I have a very special tool I'm going to be using this time. Instead of the compass, I am going to use a diaper pin. Ta-da! This is the last diaper pin from the last diaper that I ever changed. Well, so far, at least. Don't have any grandkids yet, but I do have children. And these are the diaper pins that I used. So I'm going to take that diaper pin and I am going to stick it right in there. It needs to go down a couple of layers. I'm going to stick it right here. It needs to go down a couple of layers. Okay. Thank you, diaper pin. And then we're going to make them a little bit bigger. Good job. Now comes the super glue. Put a drop into the hole. Both holes. Gonna let it soak in. So it gets all the way to the bottom. And before we glue this, we have another linkage with a loop. I showed you how to make a loop before. We are going to put that on to this hook before we put it inside the cardboard. Because being a loop, we won't be able to later. Excuse me, kitty. Hi. Yeah. Alright. Gonna hold this up a little bit. Well, I guess it's pretty dry already. Because it's not, the linkage isn't sticking to the cardboard yet at this point. Okay. Lots of super glue this time. And as we did before, excuse me, kitty, you need to step back because this is hot. We're going to put some hot glue here. Go to the other side. A little hot glue there. Other side of this one. There we go. And no kitties were injured in the filming of this video. Alright. Dry. And you can see I got a little bit sloppy because there's hot glue on the linkage. Just tear that off. Okay, this is ready. Now you can glue it onto here. You want it to be centered so it does not get stuck on the two different either side, either wall. You don't want it to get stuck. And we want the hinge to be after the bulkhead so that it moves freely. And that looks like it's going to work out just fine. Oh, you're back. I thought you were going to leave me alone for a little while. Alright, now we're going to be careful when we glue the bottom of our head because there are some moving parts in there. We're going to glue 4 spots. Always giving ourselves the option of taking it apart later if we have to. And we want to make sure that that is not going to touch either side. Make sure it's lined up. Fortunately, the glue is already cooling down. When I touched it with my fingers, which I do not recommend. I've done that when the glue was hot, and I did not like it. No, sir, I did not like it. Okay, let's see what comes next. So, you can now thread these wires through the spot. And this is how that's going to work. Oops. Unless it gets to that edge, that's not so good. I'm going to put a little more hot glue right on the 2 sides because what just happened was it tried to twist in order to go down the side of that. We don't want that. We don't need that in our lives. Okay. Now, delicately, so we don't break the hook off, we're going to hold this so that it's squared up. So it looks like it's flat. And then we're going to put our finger where we need to bend it. So I've just transferred from one fingernail to the other. Now we're going to the pliers, and this needs to be bent in the correct direction, and I've lost my position. Okay, let's go back. You know what? Let's do this easy mode. So I'm going to pull that till it looks like it's flat, the bottom that is, and I'm going to go ahead and mark where this would need to go into the hole in the servo arm. Okay, easy mode. Use a magic marker, permanent marker. Okay, now holding this loop so that it goes up and down, vertical, I'm going to bend this straight up, right at that mark, to 90 degrees. I may have bent that the wrong way. You know what? I'm going to take that back. Remember, you don't want to do this too many times. So I've made one mistake. That's not so bad. Could be worse. I could have made a whole bunch of mistakes. Alright, so we're going to bend this the other way till we get to 90 degrees. Alright. Now, in a previous video, I've said to make these 15. That's kind of too long. That's approximately the distance between the bottom of the cardboard and the top of the servo arm is about 15. So if it's 15, it will just miss the cardboard. It won't scrape against the cardboard. So I think we should be a little bit more proactive and just do a 12 here, like I corrected the other video to say 12. I'm going to do easy mode again. Oh, you can see right there. Mark it. And then clip it. And then we're going to bend it so that it will go into, yeah, okay. We're going to need to bend it a little bit more than 90 degrees, and that's okay. It's fine. That way it won't come out. 90 degrees. Alright. Well, it might come out. Alright, so I'm going to stick it in. You can see it's in the... And instead of bending over or anything like that, I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue right there. And that'll keep it from coming off. Okay. We'll see how that works. Okay. So that is the elevation servo, and we are going to test it. And I have stepped this up to 5 volts from this wall plug. Where is elevation? This is elevation. Already reaping the rewards of marking these. Let's turn it on. And let's try it out. And as you can see, it's pulling this up, and that's gonna, right there, the head is gonna be tilted up. Let's go back to 90. Go back to 90, and we can tilt the head down. Now, if you're going to be working with servos a lot, I recommend one little product, and that is the servo tester. And this one is made by High Wonder, and basically what this does is it allows you to plug your servo in here. Okay, plug in the servo, I said, and when you turn it on, it gives you a dial that you can test your servos with. See how they're going to move. And as you can see, this appears to be working. This one also has a little button you can push that will, let's say it's here, and when we push the button it'll go to neutral, which is 90 degrees, boom, sets it to 90 degrees. It also has a little voltmeter that tells you what voltage is coming into your servos. So, quite nice. So if you're going to work with servos a lot, you might want to get one of these. They're, $12, I think. Plus you have to buy some sort of power supply. And I have 4 AA batteries for mine. Okay, so that's a handy device to have. I'm going to get rid of this piece of wire before some cat eats it, because they will do that. Now, we have to put this on. And we want it centered. Remember, I'm using millimeters. Let's see if that's still centered. Because we cut a little bit off the side, so that is still centered. Fantastic. And 26, that is the more forward of the two. So I'm pushing this 26 from the edge, and I'll show you why. At 26 millimeters, the backs of the body and the head are lined up nicely, as you can see right there. So it gives Baby Bot a little bit of a chin. Oh, sorry, couldn't see that. So it lines up here, gives the Baby Bot a chin, and that just, I don't know, makes them adorable. Alright, so how are we doing this? Well, let's see. We've got our flange. We're going to get our screws. We'll be able to put 3 of them in. There's all my stuff. 1, 2, hey, come out of there. And 3. The rest of this we can put away. We won't be using the screw to put the body together with the head. You really don't need to, and that way you can take it off again if you need to. Okay, now, oops, remember that we've cut out a portion of it so that it goes up without getting stuck on the back of that servo there. So servo is here on this side. So no screw here, no screw there. So we're going to put the 3 screws that we are going to be using, kind of like that. Safety pin. Position it. So I'm looking into the servo and I'm seeing that little mark I made a little cross, and then I'm going to mark where the screws are going by making a hole. That's not good. Alright, because I let it move a little bit, I'm going to make the final hole later. So I've got 2 holes marked. Screwdriver. I'm going to start these 2. I have what appear to be special holes right here. Got a little mark around them, kind of, sort of. And I want to make sure these go in straight, because they don't necessarily have to be, because they don't have threading on them yet. And they've just started to poke through. And I put one on the other side. Alright, try to make that go in straight, up and down. Alright, come on. Alright, now we want these to go into 2 holes that we made with our diaper pin. Hold it on the back, but do not crush. Do not crush the cardboard. Just screw it in. Nice and easy. Do not screw it in tight, because we just want to screw it so that it matches up. Doesn't need to be tight. Just has to not be loose. There we go. Second screw. The right spot. I don't think it is. It needs to go over a little bit. There it is. I'm going to screw this in until it is flat, but no further. It does not need to be tight, because that will break the cardboard. Okay, excellent, excellent. And you can see right now it's already holding on quite well. I'm not sure I even need to put the 3rd screw in. That is pretty solid because of the super glue, of course. Alright, 2 screws, that's all I'm going to use. Let's put this diaper pin away. Okay, so that is our head. Get rid of the cobwebs wherever they show up. One thing we do have to do, perhaps later, is put the top of the head on, which I have not done. And I'm going to leave that for a little while, just in case I have to get in there and make a change. I'll put that on last. If you want to put it on now, you can, of course, but I'll probably put that on myself. I'll put that on later. I know how these things go. You always end up having to open them up. Now, I'm going to end the video here, but in the next video, we are going to build the body part of our baby bot. Okay, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.